Alright, good afternoon. Welcome back to Three Swords Gaming. We're going to continue our personal story playthrough. We are well into Janthir Wilds, right? So we're about to start the third portion of Janthir Wilds. So the initial rollout, and then this would be the second patch from that particular mini expansion. We are currently on our way to meet Poised Arrow in Janthir Sentry, right? So what's going on with that? Well, we have now defeated. I kind of put a question mark on that, didn't I? As far as I know, we have now defeated the Titans, who were troublesome in some way, shape, or form. Decima, Greer, and Ura. We got them while the sun was shining, and that was apparently the trick to killing them. And truth be told, Ura took us a minute, but truth be told, it was not all that big a deal. In hindsight, maybe it didn't warrant quite the to-do that we made over the Titans, but that's fine. So now we are moving forward towards Bava Nisos, which is the kind of the Mersat capital within Kryta, or not Kryta, but I still struggle with the question of, is Kryta a continent, or is Kryta like Tyria? I'm sorry, within Tyria, yeah. Kryta is in fact a region. Tyria is the globe, the world in which we play, and the Mersat capital within such a place is Bava Nisos. So we are on our way there because there is a door which is allowing the Titans in. This is presumably the door of Kamali, and it's open, and that's bad, and so we are on our way to close it, I think is what we're assuming this is about. So,
Goodbye.
Let's do that. Let's go close the door. Hello, Poised
You're
Arrow.
becoming a fixture on these missions.
Now that I've had a taste of your gallivanting lifestyle, how can I return to the humdrum of provincial life? Besides, been a part of this from the start, I have. I'm here to see it through.
And your paw knows where you are.
Yes. He asked for volunteers. Wanted to repay the Alliance for their generosity. He's tending to things back home. Besides, I'll have a wayfinder by my side, and a damned powerful wizard awaiting my arrival.
Who could have teleported us there in an instant? Believe me, sea travel is nothing to romanticize.
My first real voyage. Picture it. The breeze ruffling my fur, all majestic-like as I brave the salty tide. Anchors away.
Okay, so I think even... So having played through this before, like, I know what's next. But even... and those muscles, they were just calling out to me. I had to have them. Even if this is your first playthrough, I think we see that they are setting up, like with Pokey's enthusiasm for the high seas, I think we see that they're setting something up there, and that becomes clear. There we go.
That's it. Get it out of your system. Consider it the sea's initiation.
So we have Pokey right here. He currently has the status of seasickness.
Took the scenic route.
I had no hand in that decision.
Well, you're here, and that's what matters. Countess Anise certainly appreciates it.
Anise said the Allies have made it to the outskirts of Bava Nisos, but it's inaccessible?
Correct. The Countess will get you up to speed. She's waiting on ahead.
Okay, and we can actually move now. That's nice. I gotta get on the wiki and find out how to make that guy go away, because it's lost its charm. So, Poised Arrow, yes. The sea be a cruel mistress.
Wayfinder?
Poised Arrow... Ah, the sea's temper disturbs all in its wake. Ginger root should calm your ails.
Or perhaps an elixir.
Whatever it takes.
Okay. So I was on a deep sea fishing trip once, which was actually really cool. Had a really good time. I don't know that it's something that I'm like in a rush to do again, but not because it was a negative experience, just because I'm not the aquatic type. But it was a lot of fun. Really interesting experience. I actually caught a mess of fish. Turns out it wasn't really that hard, at least with the way we were doing it. Which was the normal way of doing it, like with a fishing pole. But it went quite well. There were some other folks on the adventure who were not, like, they suffered massively. Like, it was unbelievable how bad the seasickness was. And the thing is, like, this is like a chartered fishing trip, right? So once they're out, they're not going to return to drop off a couple people who are experiencing seasickness while the other 50 some odd people can, wait so that they can do their fishing. So they didn't do that. There were a handful of folks like in kind of the galley area who were just suffering while the rest of us were fishing.
Made it. How was your first voyage?
I'll do things your way next time.
Figured as much. I'll prepare you a nausea elixir once we're settled here.
That's kind of an interesting touch too, because many like fantasy and sci-fi stories or worlds or what will you that feature some sort of fast travel, whether it's getting beamed up in Star Trek or what will you, like throughout fantasy and sci-fi, there's often a portrayal that like taking portals or getting beamed up or whatever fast travel it is an experience that is unnerving or unsettling for people. Like famously, the Doctor in Star Trek, was it Leonard McCoy? Is that right? I think so. Does not like getting beamed up, right? But here we have the opposite. Apparently, Waiting Sorrow's portal would have been much more favorable for Poised Arrow than the boat, which was not at all favorable for him. I've really said all we need to say about him being seasickness. Let's just let him recover and get to the story. And Anise cannot talk. Yeah, so we can't get into the city. Bottom line.
It was never going to be as easy as waltzing through the front door. Spectral agony looms thick over this entire isle.
Is that why it feels so heavy here?
You're sensing a futile cling to power long obliterated. A Mersad's prized torture method. Heavy as an understatement.
I felt it too, Wayfinder. It stinks deep, this isle. And I've been sensing a vast well of it somewhere north of us.
Suspicious muck usually protects important information. Maybe we start there. The youth's instincts belie his age. The North is a graveyard for one of the bloodiest Seer Mersat battles. Our plan is to start north, but stay vigilant. Darkness looms here like a vindictive foe, raring to settle her score.
Wow, impressive. Anise will not be talking for this patch because of the Voice Actors Guild thing. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. Okay. It's weird that it had like a spot to go to just to tell us to leave the story. Wasn't it already telling us to leave the story? So I have like some interesting, well, I don't know if they're interesting. They're probably not interesting at all, but I have some thoughts on this patch. Not so much that it's good or bad, although I think it's not bad, but more in terms of they're under some pressure to get this one right.
I didn't realize
and the next one right. So the whole Bava Nisos thing, this patch and the next one, there's a lot, I think, of high expectations when it comes to Bava Nisos. So they're going to want to. Okay, so this is a story of some bandits who came here and had a bad experience and regretted coming here. I think there's a portion of the player population that has very high expectations for what Bava Nisos is going to be, and when the big reveal comes, whatever that looks like, it's going to need to measure up to their expectations, I think, and I don't know if that's even possible in a sense, because I think their expectations are probably going to be exceptionally high. Hey, Countess Anise, I guess we'll hear you not say anything at all. Yeah, so the Alliance is getting impatient, and Isgaren's concerns are warranted. Okay. Yeah, so we need to survey the island and get a feel for what's going on here. Okay. Or the area. I don't know that we're necessarily... I mean, we are on an island, but that's not what she said. She said area. We'll go north, and if we encounter anything odd, we'll contact her. Okay. Cool. Thanks for the pep talk. And now we get little... like magnifying glasses.
This place makes the rest of Janthir look downright inviting.
See, I think this is a fantastically beautiful map, and we'll get to see a lot more of it. It's not the most impressive, just in terms of a map as a you know, like as a playing experience. I don't know that it's, you know, going to stand as one of the great maps that they ever made. It's fine for now, and I think it's going to lose its charm as time passes, because, well, for reasons. But I do think, much like Mount Balrior, which, in fairness, so in a previous video that I have to re-export because I exported it at too low of a graphical quality, and I need to fix that. But after I get that done, in the video when we were on Mount Balrior, and I was talking about it's a shame, you know, that only exists within the story instance. I guess it does also exist within a raid and maybe a convergence. So they I suppose got closer to getting their money's worth out of that map design. It's still unfortunate that it's not a fully playable map. I'm not sure this one is, when all is said and done,
Easy to get turned around.
going to be as good as it is beautiful. And I think it is tremendously beautiful. So the updrafts can be used by, well, because they're not updrafts, they're mist surges. They're updrafts that can be used by the War Claws, which is kind of cool. So, the Mersat Mirror. Strange object. Thrums with power, but does not react to our touch. Maybe I'm missing something here. You see visions of the ancient Mersat using these objects to traverse their ancient city. You have the insight, now you need the training. I need to reflect on this. Alright, so it's a mastery. And this is... And I talked about this just a video or two ago when we were going through the previous patch, about the quality of the masteries in more recent Living World and mini expansions, which my whole point to that conversation was mini expansions are just Living World. And you're not really going to talk me out of that. So if you look here, and let's make sure that we're on the one we want to be on, because this is what we're going to be doing now for a few minutes. This allows us to get around the map. I'm a little bit okay with that, but you know, the way they did it is just kind of block off things that you want access to without the mastery, so not optimal. It would have been fun if it had been like a unique way to get around, and there is an aspect of it that's unique, but it's not something that the player can control. So that's kind of kind of iffy on it, but that's fine. And then the other two, scrounge additional rewards from completing events. Improvements to survey methods increase reward yield. So these are the same. So much like Icebrood Saga, where like receipt grader bonuses. No, that's actually a thing that you can use. But a lot of these are like, be able to access rewards and stuff. Where are the ones that? Or is it the first tier? Is it just Raven Attunement? Anyway, you know how you can't get a lot of the loot in Icebrood Saga without the masteries? Here we kind of get that again. You need the mastery. That's not. And the whole thing with Icebrood Saga also was those combat skills. The enemies were kind of tuned up a little bit, which probably no longer feels that way with power creep, but at the time it was somewhat noticeable. So certainly not mounts, not gliding, not the things that we remember as being like particularly cool. On the contrary, it's kind of not that much fun as masters go, in my opinion. Okay, and actually, you know what? I think if we go right over here, we'll get a chance to kind of see that. Oh no, this one's actually accessible. A few of these are locked behind Fat Mastery. Like, they're in a bubble. And you can't get into the bubble. Hi, Manikes. You can't get into the bubble without the Mastery. So it's like, oh, you don't get Mastery points without the Mastery, and which also feels like super weird. I'm personally not a fan of Mastery points being locked behind Masteries, because it creates this weird thing where you're like, okay, how do I, which Mastery points can I get, which can I not? Icebrood Saga is particularly egregious with like the inaccessibility of Mastery points, to the point where the only expansion that I've struggled with completing Masteries on in my main account, and probably will never do it because I'm just over it at this point, is Icebrood Saga. Alright. So, anyway, to the relevant point, now that I'm done talking. We have to obtain the mastery before we can move forward in the story. So we immediately land on this island, and it's like, hey, complete the entire mastery bar. Which, as you can see, we have nothing. It's only one. Is it just one mastery point? Yeah, 2. But it's the amount of experience that I believe is normally associated with one mastery point, which is 508,000. So I am going to do that, and then I will resume the video. So I'm just going to edit everything out. I'll just cut the video so that people don't have to suffer by watching me like scurry around looking for events, or alternatively do a whole bunch of riffs to get the experience, because that seems to be the way most people have decided to get the experience as quickly as possible, is just by doing riffs. So I might catch a few of these events like this one that are just hanging out, and then beyond that, just do some riffs. Even though I hate riffs, and I do. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and more or less say we are back. We have not actually filled the experience bar. I am assuming, however, that completing this rift here momentarily will fill it. Probably. So what did it take for us to fill the bar? It took us, I think, 3 events and 4 rifts, if I'm not mistaken. Whether or not that is, perceived as an appropriate amount of effort or not appropriate amount of effort, far be it from me to judge. But that happens to be about what it took. How much time did it take me? It looks like it took me a hot minute. I don't remember when I started the video break. I know the video is now at 54 minutes, and we were not that far in when I started working on this. So, I mean, did it take like well over a half hour? I think it did. And admittedly, I spent a little bit of time Working on... Oh, it did not quite complete it. Alright, well, I'll just keep talking while we get that last little bit. I spent a little bit of time looking for more events when I could have just been doing more rifts. Rifts are clearly, and it's not even up for debate, like the fastest way of going about this. Someone else already triggered this one. Is it already like active? Did they not come here? Did they? I don't even care. Because I just want to get this done. We won't even have to beat the boss. We'll just have to kill all the mobs, and that should get us there. Presumably, if someone's looking for this one, they're on their way. And they should be able to get here in time so that it's a non-issue. I would think. So I'm not going to feel particularly bad about this. Do I think it's awful? Oh, there he is. He's right here next to us. Same guy at the last one. Do I think it's bad that they did the mastery thing again? It's better than a green bar. Right? It's better than do 5 events across, you know, whatever map. It is still like a manufactured mechanism to keep the player playing longer in between story instances. And I've talked about that before during the story playthrough. It is very obviously because the battle rhythm, if you will, the release cadence for the mini expansions is such that they cannot possibly create enough like story content to actually keep players busy for an amount of time that would protect them from, you know, players whining and crying, right? And it is very noticeable that, like, I feel like what the normal thing is these days is for players to aggressively try to complete all content absolutely as fast as they can, and then complain about a lack of content instead of like leisurely enjoying the content. Which, when I played through this on my main account, is very much what I did. If I'm not doing that right now, it's because I want to get this recorded, and you know, this is, after all, now my second playthrough of this, which considering that I'm far less engaged with the game these days, and even though I've been playing it for most of the day today, which is kind of thinking about playing some Cyberpunk here in a little bit. But definitely on my main playthrough, I was very leisurely about it and played probably several hours before I completed that that mastery. Not because it takes me that long to get that amount of experience, but rather because I was like really exploring the map and kind of looking at some of the stuff on the map, which is very interesting. I actually think, in terms of aesthetics, it's a really cool map. I really very much like it. It's got a couple of new currencies on it. It's got this Mersat obsidian, and then it's also got like the, what is it called? Do I have any in here right now? Like the heat-treated nonsense stone or some such thing. So like lots of relatively interesting stuff going on, and I enjoy that. Again, whether or not it's going to get a lot of replay value, I don't know. Oh, you know what? Instead of trying to get back to the start, I should get to that mirror, which is very clearly on my map. I am kind of concerned that it doesn't have enough in the way of like gameplay to keep folks coming back and back and back. Although, in fairness, I've not yet played all the events available on this map. So there's at least enough, although I tried doing this one. In fact, I didn't try doing this one. I did do this one while filling the experience bar, or the mastery bar. I didn't like it very much as an event, but I did do it. I don't think it's a bad event. It's just a bad event for me. Here's that other currency. Titan Heatstone Cluster. So I suppose the actual currency that drops is just Titan Heatstone? It is. Titan Heatstone. So that's a thing. And then the Mersat Obsidian. Both... So, I have discovered a thing when it comes to, like, the currencies and stuff. in the game. By all means, like if folks disagree, they're welcome to be wrong. People like gathering a currency more when it is aesthetically pleasing in their inventory. When a currency looks cool, they are more inclined to want to farm it. Or at least to try and get it. And both these look really, really cool. That is the dumbest thing in the world for me to say that was a success for ArenaNet, but I do genuinely think that is a success. Alright. Oh my gosh. And I'm floating. So this is the aspect... Oh, and the commander's really enjoying it. This is the aspect of the mastery as a means of transportation that is kind of cool. Is it takes you for a little ride. Now, this is also time-consuming. We've been going for a little ride for a hot minute now. Oh, man, I didn't get over there in time. Oh, it's just a Tier 2 rift. It's not what I thought. Okay.
Is that?
All right. And we saw a little... we saw a little sprite type thing, and that's what we're going to go talk to Anise about.
Anise, can you hear me?
Anise can hear us, but she can't talk. She says, everything all right, Commander?
There's something in the valley. It's glowing? I want to get a closer look.
She says, hold on. The last thing we need is you running off alone, chasing shiny objects. Come back and we'll regroup. So, if you remember the very start... Oh, she says, I'll have the wizards meet you just north of base camp. That way you'll at least have them to accompany your search. Cool.
Fair enough. Be there soon.
Fair enough, be there soon. Which you could hear... Oh, there's another rift. Is this a tier... This is a tier 2. Should we do it? I mean, that's like the whole... I just did a whole bunch of rifts, so I feel like the answer is I shouldn't. But this is a really big group here, so I guess we'll take advantage of that, right? In theory, like I shouldn't even have to be concerned about dying because, in spite of the million, like this must be a big group because this is a gross mess of trash here, as far as like the mobs go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, if you'll recall at the beginning of the story, Anise made it very clear she had no desire to come to Janthir, you know, to the Janthir Islands, which is why I find it so interesting that like that she is here. You know what I mean? Like, by no stretch of imagination is it some kind of retcon or something. It's nothing like that. It's just they said that you know, they expressed a certain thing on behalf of Anise, and then she did something else. That is even, in fairness, consistent with her character. So I don't think we're in a position to be particularly salty about it. But I just... For me, it is noticeable. Whatever I'm standing in is not working out well for me. Didn't work out for someone else either. Ah. I don't know why I did this. There's no, like, justification for me taking time out from the story to do this one T2 rift willy-nilly. Especially on this account. On my main account, it might make a little bit more sense, because one thing that I have not done on my main account is, oh, we are going to look at this, though. Is craft the legendary armor from Secrets of the Obscure. Alright, so the mastery. See this red bubble? If we try to walk into the red bubble, it's going to say, no, you cannot go inside there where that mastery point is. Instead, it's going to transport us way over here. But what it's going to do is it's going to transport us right next to a Mersat mirror. That now that we...
Who do you see?
Who do I see? I mean... me? Do I see me?
Let's see.
And it's going to take us right back to where we were, which I think is like right here, but it's going to take us like the long way, right? Yeah, I already forgot what I was talking about before the mastery. Not important. Oh yeah, legendary armor. Never got it, and probably will at some point in the future. Like, in theory, eventually I will have everything I want. Ooh, actually, that's kind of debatable, though, because the thing that turned me off, I was kind of aggressively pursuing it. As much as I think rifts are kind of non-content, I was doing them, and I was kind of pursuing what I thought I needed for the legendary armor. And then, well, the first couple maps, you could do map completion like the normal way. Towards the end there, they changed it to where you had to do like the light the lamps thing. And throughout Nios, I had been completing the maps with a bunch of different characters to try and like complete everything. And that was such a turnoff that, yeah, I actually don't know if I am ever going to complete that, because I don't know that I'll ever go light those stupid lamps. One of the most bizarre decisions that ArenaNet ever made in terms of just changing a system that had been in the game, and is back the normal way, is just for that one mini X-Pack. They're like, hey, we're going to do something different that makes no sense at all. And it was gross, and it didn't feel good, and just showed that this studio has never learned from their mistakes. They do not progress. They stay right where they're at, which is always a decent MMO, but they're never going to get better because they don't have the capacity to learn. And that's unfortunate. Poisdera.
Wayfinder, the Countess told us to meet you. Said you saw something here.
It looked like some sort of glowing wisp, but I wasn't able to see it up close.
Interesting. I've been sensing something as well, a greater presence. It's potent, like the spectral agony, but also more...
familiar.
You feel it too, Ren?
I can offer protection from the spectral agony provided you stay in my vicinity. Let us make haste.
Okay, let's make haste. Let's follow his Garn. So as I'm planning ahead, as we're just moseying along with his Garn, I'm thinking about the last instance of this release, which very much...
Is it supposed to hurt this bad?
Oh, poor thing. I forget how much higher our tolerance is to the agony.
I'm right there with you, Pokey. We'll push through.
Why are we right there with Pokey when previous masteries have enabled us to deal with it? We should be much closer to where Waiting Sorrow and his Garn are at, based on the progression of the story.
So this is it. What the? Did you hear that?
Yes, weapons drawn. Stay alert.
That voice. Why can't I place it?
This whole, like, ambiance is, like, super cool. It's interesting that the explosions, those, like, bloodstone explosions where they are, aren't throwing my Warclaw. Because they were throwing my, like, launching, like, the effect of launching. They were launching my Flesh Golem when I did this on a Necromancer. And I don't know why... Let's see, did they launch us? Yeah, they launch us. Why isn't it... Maybe I just didn't see it. But yes, so the last instance, which I was talking about before some dialogue interrupted me, and then I got to thinking about flying flesh golems.
Insult us, but not to show yourself.
Little Claw.
That last instance has the potential, if you look at every little thing and like read every little thing and get fully invested, that one instance has the potential to run like 40 minutes probably, and I don't think I want it to run that long. Now in fairness, once you get your mastery bar full, a majority of the patch is actually exceptionally short, you know, which is again why they do that.
There it is. That's what I saw earlier. Sorrow, could that be what you were sensing?
Yes.
Yes.
Why are they so freaked out about it? Who could say? I guess we'll find out, won't we? I'm probably going to blow through it quicker. I'm probably not going to do all the things. But there is a lot of, from this point forward in the story, there's actually a lot of lore. Up until now, we've just been doing riffs, right? So we start to get into the story, and there is some interesting stuff for sure.
We heal as one.
Whoa, what is that? It's fascinating. Can I touch it?
Wait. Hold on. Commander, try using the Heart of the Obscure on it.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Weapons, now! Time to do some real damage.
So I actually like the axes for this, because the axes bounce. You know what else would be really good here? Like, Mesmer's Staff would be, like, crazy here, right? Or, what else bounces? Thief Shortbow bounces. Does Dragon Bow, or Dragon Hunter Longbow bounce? I think it does. But yeah, bouncy things are nice here. The Heart of the Obscure, right? If you got to go all the way back to the beginning of Secrets of the Obscure. And we were kind of given this, like, device. And device is the perfect word, since it's nothing more than a plot device. And a MacGuffin wanted that, and that is the point I'm trying to get to. We're given this device, and it's never really explained, like, why it is. Where did it come from? Which I believe Waiting Sorrow, like, made it, or discovered it in some way. So its origins do have something to do with Waiting Sorrow. But we're given this device, and it's significant in some way. And since then, it has done all the things. It's done everything. It detects rifts, it opens doors, it exposes things that were hidden, it translates documents, and maybe that is necessary.
But I'll kill you again without a second thought.
I was running my yap and we missed dialogue. Yegon says, what? Don't want to tell them how you executed me in front of my family? No one doubts your capacity for cruelty. And Isgron says, and I'll kill you again without a second thought. So we get... we lost our bubble, by the way. As you may note now. So we're going to come over here and cozy up to Waiting Sorrow. That way we have an ally nearby. Although, like, her attacks never seem to do that much. I mean, they're, like, big and pretty, but... There we go. See, now she's made us a shield. It may be, to come back to the point I was talking about when I realized I was talking over dialogue, that they realized they had a problem with being able to move the story quick
Is
enough.
everyone all right?
It appears so.
Ren, that Mursad, was that
What's happening?
Maban?
So this is it. Your legacy of ruination. Itself ended in ruin. Our legacy. What did you expect? Was it worth it? Look how powerful you are now. Damned fools. We're damned fools who damned ourselves. And this is what we have to show for it.
You knew it was Maban.
I thought it best not to trouble you until our safety was assured.
You knew him?
Another friend I failed in his time of need.
His history was complicated, his people's more so. Even he was left conflicted. That speaks nothing of you.
We should get out of here before the agony intensifies.
Yes, we need to inform Anis of our findings regardless. Best we return to her.
Okie dokie. Now I can run my mouth all I want, because we're between instances.
All mine.
So, which mastery am I working on, though? I don't care about that in the slightest. Eh. So, I'm wondering if it was a strategic decision when ArenaNet made the transition to the mini expansion model, that they said to themselves, like, we need to be able to move the story quickly, and they decided that some like silly plot device that fixes everything, like truly a MacGuffin, much like Timey was for season 3 and season 4, right? They needed another Timey, and they didn't want it to be Timey, and so they created a literal object, a literal device that the commander can use to just rapidly expedite things.
This is most remarkable.
If that was a conscious decision on their part, I would actually give them credit for that, and I wouldn't like necessarily resent it, because it would be something that because it makes sense in a certain capacity. If it was simply that they did it without realizing they were doing it, and it seemed like a cool thing, and then later it's like, oh, wow, like, we can also do this with it, we can also do this with it, then that shows a remarkable lack of foresight, if that makes sense. Alright, I'm going to stop complaining for right now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and insert the video break in here. I think probably the remaining part of the story will be comparable in length to this. I'm at an hour 20 on this recording, but that's 30 or 40 minutes of that were spent filling that mastery bar. So I feel like this is about the right spot to insert a video break. I'm going to stop here, take a little break, and then we're going to complete this patch. And hopefully, when I upload these videos, I can fix. I'm having a problem with the graphics when I upload the videos. Is graphics are poorer than I want them to be. So hopefully, I can get that fixed, and we'll get these videos put up. So thank you for coming along with me this far, and I will see you again shortly.